start a React.js journey. As you all know, React.js is the only thing on the market which will get you a job. You just have R of React in your resume, you'll get a job. There is no one in the world who can stop you. If you have done 10 React.js project and shown that on your LinkedIn profile and shown that have your GitHub profile, that I will give you a job. You do 10 React.js project, I will give you a job. That's my guarantee. Today only someone pinged me and was telling, sir, I'm doing a React.js. I'm not getting good opportunity. I'm doing React.js for the past 1 year. I just told him, but he just give me your resume. I have hundred of people waiting for React.js developer. Even I have a service-based company. So I am waiting for React.js developer. It's so much demand that I cannot give to external people. 2 days back, I wanted a senior React.js developer, so I contacted one of the biggest firm in Bhopal, and that guy told me, "Buddy, I don't have React.js developer. There is so much demand. Only even the freshers with 10 projects, you will be picked up by almost any startup. Don't go for Python. Don't go for anything else in this world. Only do HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js because those three are the building point. And if you have done this, please contact me. I will give you a job. I will give you a job. I am telling you, I will give you a job. I have so much demand for React.js. So many people contact me for React.js. Just you have to do a React.js, you'll get a job. But that doesn't mean that you don't know anything. You have to do at least 10 projects in React.js. At least four of them, at least two to three of them should be big projects. It is not like that much easy. You have to do. And React.js means HTML, CSS, JavaScript also. Those things also you have to learn. So it is not like that just a cakewalk. No, it is not a cakewalk. You have to learn four languages. Don't concentrate on anything else, and you'll get a job. I will get you a job. I will give you a job because I refer people also. I take people, refer people, everything. So that is there. And one sec, let me. Going to start with a React.js journey, but I forgot to start on my YouTube also because I keep on watching the chat on my mobile phone actually. So a lot of people do. Okay. This video, so, you're going to learn everything. One sec. Yep. Good evening. Good evening, all. So, you're at the correct place if you come here to learn React.js. Thank you all. Okay. So, let's get started. Welcome all because React.js, the installation sometimes like 2 to 3 minutes. So, we can do something at that time. Okay. And this you'll get participant certificate, attendance. Attendance will be given at the end. Guidance will be given at the end. Okay, so that is there. And let me share my screen. Okay, we'll go through a slide first, and but with that only, what is for next week? I have not yet decided what is for next week. Uh, means 3 p.m. It is most probably we're going to do CSS again or fundamental challenges, and night if it is 8:30 p.m. I have not decided what I'm going to do. Uh, maybe so there are a lot of topics. Maybe I can take Redux. Maybe I can take something else also. Maybe Redux I will take, or maybe some React.js projects also I can take. Okay, so that is there. So yeah, hi. So even before that, even going through this, I'm going to tell one thing that you need to install React.js. Means how do we install React.js? React.js installation is very simple. Okay, so you just need to have a Node.js installed on your system. So that is a must for React.js, and you should be familiar with a bit of command line. Node.js should be installed on your system. That is for sure. Node.js, go there, and for Windows you'll get some exe and install it. Recommended for for users, install it. That is the main requirement for React.js, nothing else. Node.js comes with npm, and you can easily do it. And then you have to go to this create React app. Create React app. Go to this on this GitHub. You go. React is completely open source and from Facebook. That's why you're seeing this Facebook thing here. So then what you have to do? You have to run a different kind of command, which is known as npx command. So what is this npx command? It is an advanced form of npm command where you don't have to install anything. So they're also telling. So if you have previously installed create React app globally via npm install -g react, you recommend to uninstall it first. Earlier means around 1 year back. 1 year back we used to first install this globally, and then we used to create it. But nowadays it doesn't work. If you have done it, you have to uninstall it, or else it will give some error. Okay, so this npx create react app, my app I'll do. And from now onwards you have to know a bit of command line, that is for sure. Not that much. I'm inside a folder, and I'll do this npx create react app, and it will going to create a app with my app name. You can give any name. Okay, so let it be done. And let's get started with a bit of theory. I'm not going to tell much theory. So reactjs is a javascript library and not a framework like angular. That is something which is positive for reactjs, also negative for reactjs. Why positive? It's a very small thing. You just learn reactjs means I'm completing it in 5 days. Everything I will complete, but actually it is not complete. There are something on top of it which is required. Like after react you should know redux also. So redux also I take for the 5 days. So that I have taken a lot of time. So redux is required, a lot of things are required here. Like state management, for global state management you need uh, redux. For routing you need react router. I have some videos on my channel also for that. So what happens with Angular? It is a complete thing. You don't have to go outside. But then Angular takes around 3 to 4 weeks to learn completely. Okay, means to teach, for me to teach, and for you to learn, it will take 3 to 4 months. So that's the difference. Angular is a complete framework. React is a library, but React is way ahead in the race in Angular. As I always say, if there are 7 jobs, if there are 10 jobs, 7 are in React, 2 are in Angular, and 1 is in Vue.js. So you don't have to learn those things. That's why. And it is used to build interface and focus on a UI. It is a rich ecosystem, blah blah blah, and hundreds of npm packages are there. Yeah, hundreds of npm. You will get npm packages for almost everything. Then while on reactjs, because it is created by Facebook. Yeah, Facebook is the biggest company. It created it to solve its own problem, because Facebook is the biggest website or a web app in the world with 3 billion active users, which is like the half the population of the world. So it gets a lot of connection. For that it requires to be very very fast. Okay, very fast, because it is handling so much requests. That was the reason Facebook created React and then made it open source to the world. And now React is used by almost every company. Only one company doesn't use React. Every company on this planet uses React to create a web app, and that company is Google. Google doesn't use React. Why Google? See, even this product which I'm using right now, ReactJS tutorial for beginners. This is a Google product. This is a Google slide, and Google doesn't uses React, because Google invented Angular. So Google Angular is used everywhere else, from Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix. Everyone else uses Google. Even Microsoft uses React, because I have people in Microsoft. They tell that all the new products are in React only. So that is the power of React, and all startups and all everything is in React. The whole world belongs to React. And this is old, huge community, totally open source. Huge community means tons of article and stack overflow session. Whenever you're stuck somewhere, you'll get a solution. Okay, this is the most demanded skills of front-end developer. Okay, and React Native, which is used for mobile app development, completely based on it. 70% of React Native is like React, and you cannot learn React Native without learning React. That is also thing. Without learning that, you cannot learn React Native, because everything is React there. Okay, so enough of it. So I don't want to bore everyone with theory. So uh, okay, so okay, so first, so our thing is done. So when everything is done, so it will, you will see something like this. Okay, so let me also make it a bit small and all. Okay, so you'll see this. So you have to cd to it, npm start, and happy hacking thing you are going to see. So I'll do cd to it, cd my app, and then I will also open it with VS Code, because we want to see what we're doing. So I'll do a code here, and it will open, and I'll do a npm start. And hot reloading and everything comes by default. You don't have to go there out, and you don't have to do some what did they say? You don't have to run a live server or something. Everything is inbuilt in React project. Okay, so this is like this. It will open, and it will show us the famous React logo. Okay, so that it will be shown. And the first thing which I'm going to tell is to take all of it through the structure of the React project. See, React is having a lot of things, like there's node modules and all these things it is having. Why it is having all these things? It is having all these things because the browser, at the end of the browser, understand only three things. One is HTML, one is CSS, and one is JavaScript. It doesn't understand anything like React.js, AngularJS. No, it doesn't understand those things. So there are something inbuilt in React project which is known as Babel and all those things. There's again theoretical concept. Babel means it's not theoretical concept. It is working behind the hood, but you don't need to know it. The Babel and all those things are there. You learn. If you want to learn, you can do that. Babel and all those things. And what happens with that? They convert this React.js project into a JavaScript project behind the scene, and that's why you have to run. You can run React.js project directly in that. Okay, so that is there. Good evening, everyone. Okay, good evening. Everybody is saying. Okay, so that is good. So now we are going to look into the structure and all. What is there? First, the readme is there. As always, the readme is there. Then this package.json is there. Okay, this package.json is there, which is there, which will be there in almost every Node.js kind of a project. The package.json will be there. All the files will be there. So there is a file which is very where these are the packages which were installed by default, which is very important, which is this React version. Version is currently 18. Actually, they have recently upgraded to 18. There are some bit of changes are there, and I think I have to also go through that. What are the changes? Some of those things are actually changed a lot. The structure have changed a lot. Structure of the project, not the project, a bit of the thing which we generally don't use. I will show that thing. So the React version is very much important. Okay, 18.0. React DOM is also like this 18.0. It is okay. So these are the versions of React. Why it is important? Because React started started getting popular in around 2015 till 2020. React was heavily into class based thing. Class based components were the main thing. I'm going to tell what is a class based and a functional component. But in around 2020, mid of 2020, a React version came. React version 16.8 came. With it, what happened? The functional component started getting some of the features of the class-based component. Will come to that, and they got some of the features of the class-based component, and now they're equal to class-based component. In fact, React is moving towards functional component. It wants us to make use functional component. That is what is known as React hooks. That is what we are going to cover in the last 2 days, because I always teach React class based component first. A lot of people on YouTube and all, they just directly go to the hooks, but I don't go there, because still a lot of projects are in React class based, because it is in 2020 mid. Still, if you production project doesn't work like that. Production projects are at least 4 to 5 to 10 years old. If you're going to go in a project which is like 4 5 years old, then you're going to use class based things also. And there's some of the concept in React hooks which will not be clear if you don't learn the class based things. But those who know a little bit of React, they will know what I'm saying. Okay, so that is there. And okay, code is not visible. Code is pretty much visible. I'm seeing it on YouTube also. So please try to always attend everything on a laptop or I will expand the code anyways. I have not yet reached to the code actually. Let me watch on my YouTube also how I'm seeing. And one thing is there, code is pretty much visible. One thing for everyone is there. Please, okay. Yeah, so I will also show one more thing to everyone. See, the code is pretty much visible. This is how it is see, or this it is being shown. Okay. One thing I will tell everyone, whoever is say that they are not able to see, and anyways I'm going to make it this a bit bigger. Go here in the settings and go to the quality here and make it not auto, make it 720p. This is also for the mobile people who are watching it on mobile. Please do 720p. It is must, because YouTube by default, if you're on a lower network, it will put it to 144p, which will be very less. Okay, very less. Okay, please don't do it on 144p, because 144p you will not be able to watch anything good. Okay, so do at 720p. I am broadcasting it at 720p, so watch it at 720p, or else the code will not be visible much. It is for everyone. Yes. Okay, so let me close it. See, data is so cheap. It is not like that. Tell me that you cannot do it. Data is so cheap nowadays. Okay, so that is there. And what I was telling. Okay, so this is the package of JSON and all, and then the next thing is that the get ignore is the get ignore is very important, right? Because get ignore contains this node modules thing, and this node modules thing. What is this node modules? So it is this means that this node module, there is a huge module known as a node module. It has got a lot of file. It is not necessary for it to go to the GitHub. Get ignore means whatever is put in the get ignore, it will not go to the GitHub. Anyways, we are going to post that project in the GitHub. So the node module should not go, because node module itself is 200 to 300 MB, and our GitHub total is 2 GB only. So if we start pushing node modules for every project, GitHub will get exhausted in around 10 project only. So you should never put it. But React, everything comes inbuilt only. So okay, the git ignore is that you don't even have to think about it. Now let us come to the main structure of React. Okay, so there is a public folder. So public folder, there is an index.html file is there. Okay, so index.html file is there. So what happens in this index.html file? You will see a lot of comment is there. This is how you comment in React. You can remove it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You can remove it. So here you will see this head part is there and the body part is there. So head part have this React app and all these things, and all these things are there. So if I change this thing to learn React, see what will happen. I'll save it. It is hot reloading. Hot reloading is you don't everything. I save it. The moment I save it, it will come in. See, learn React is coming here, and the head part is where if you want to add some external libraries like Bootstrap, and also you add it in the head part. And actually this index.html only has been shown here, but how it is shown, I'll tell. This body is there. After this body is there, and body don't touch anything. And then I have a div of id of root. Those who have attended my JavaScript class, they know that I have done this DOM programming. Okay, DOM programming and all have done. And in that you will have known something like document.get element by id and all, because that a little bit of that is required now. Okay, just to understand it, this is not react.js programming. Div with id of root is there. Then I will come here, and then I will go to the starting point of React. Actually React start from this index.js file. Index.js file it will start, and see what will happen. There are some code is blah blah, this is there. Okay, and they've changed it a bit, but it reads like that. Document dot get element by id root. What is this? Document dot get element by id root. And make it a bit bigger also. So document dot get element by id root is there. Okay, what is this root? Root is this. So we have learned about this kind of command, document dot get element by id, in DOM programming. So it is React. You don't have to learn much of it, because we are never going to use this thing again. So it tells that create this get this document dot get element by id root, and this app is there. Root dot render means root, I'm taking this, and root dot render this. So in this id render this thing. See, this thing we have done a lot in DOM programming also. Okay, but it is like a React language like this. Take this root and render this app and this. But it's internal functioning, you don't have to learn much. In fact, nobody teaches it on the internet also. I only teach this internet thing. Maybe someone will be there in their long Udemy course and all. Okay, so that is there, and this is there, and this is the thing actually which has been shown here. So if you see closely, you have this app and this header, and this logo is running this header and header and all. Okay, React 18, I have to go through it. So okay, so I have not gone through React 18 yet. React 18 is 4 5 days back only it has come, so I don't know it yet. Okay, so it is quite new. That's good. You have told me about something new. Okay, React 18 batching and concurrent rendering. Good, good, good. No, that is I have not yet updated my course yet. So this class name is app is there, and then header is there. So this header, this all things, these are the all things which are been told here. So if I'm going to remove this all, okay, if I'm going to remove this all, and if I go whatever I'm going to put it here like this, okay, so h1 react.js tutorial, and what we have seen right now, it is known as the JS6. Okay, so when react.js was introduced, people were like worried what is this, because Angular was there before react.js. It came in around 2010. And in Angular what happened, just let me tell a bit. Angular, the HTML, CSS and JavaScript are three different files. But in React, what happens? The CSS is like normal CSS. See, it can be a fancy kind of CSS, that also we can going to see. But most of the time, it's a normal CSS. This is a normal CSS file. Nothing different in there. I'm importing it and showing it. But this file, if you see, a JavaScript file containing HTML. This is what React is all about. A JavaScript and HTML files are actually combined, and they are being converted into file known as JSX file. JSX, JavaScript XML, a different kind of language. Very easy to learn. Nothing much is there. A slight differences are there, but nothing much is there. So this is how the all things work. This is how this thing is also working. Okay. So this is how all React works. Now we are going to start with your two types of component. As I've told, in React there are two types of component. One is the stateless, one is the functional component, one is the class based component. Okay, so one thing I will tell now. See, right now we are for 3 days class based component. It's a bit bigger. So for 3 days we're going to learn class based component. 2 days we're going to learn React hooks functional component. So for 3 days we are going to think as if like the functional component don't have a state, because that is what used to happen before 2020 mid. Functional components were also known as dumb component. They were only representational component, and class-based component were the components in which uh, we used to have two important topics of React, and that is state and lifecycle methods. Those are the two important things in React. Okay, so let us first learn about your okay, let us learn about your functional component first. Okay, so in fact this is also a functional component. When I started with React from the start, means 2015. It was on a top, and I started at that time. I have a privilege, I started at that time when React was started, so that was good. So I got a lot of opportunity because of that. So that happens if something is new and you do it in the starting, your career grow like anything. So that is there. And this in fact this is also functional component. But when I started, this component used to be class based component, because class based component were at the top that time. And nowadays React is moving to a functional component. That is a different thing. So see, what is this functional component? A normal function is there. JavaScript function, it's a JavaScript function. It's a return keyword is there. But we can use arrow functions also, and I love arrow functions. And you'll see most of the developers will use arrow function only, not this kind of function. This function, keyword function, nobody uses generally. Everybody uses arrow function only. So app.js I'll come, and then here I'll do a src. In the src I'll do a component. So this is how we do generally. In src I'll have a components folder, and inside this components folder, let me make a file like greet.js I'll make. And then here okay, here I will write import react from React like this. Then export const greet equal to, see, as I've told, I can use a arrows function also. Okay, and div and all hello world I'm going to do and save it. So just a hello world is coming, and this is like this. So I've created a functional component. This is how we create a functional component. But then also there are two kind of, actually, something known as import and export. So this is known as named export. So one thing to notice is this is known as named export, and we don't use it that much. We use something known as default export. What is the default export? Default export is something like this. I'm going to tell soon, tell about this difference also. So this is known as the named export. I'm doing this, and then I have to import it. So this is also known, this is also a child component, because we are going to show this in the app.js. So this is how React works. App.js is always the starting part of of the React. Although I thought about index.js and all, but the starting point is always app.js. That is something a theoretical kind of concept, but the main practical concept starts from app.js. So here I am, and then what I need to do, I want to show this greet.js. Okay, so instead of having this and all, I'll have this greet, greet, and enter. So greet, see, it will show me the import and all. Okay, so greet, see, the import is coming like this. Okay, this curly bracket is very important, and it is showing the curly bracket from dot component, the path it is taking, and I will now save it. Hello world is coming, and React is hot reloading is there, so hello world has been shown. So this is how it works. Okay, this is how it works. Now the next thing is that, okay, and this time kind of import is also known as named import and named export. This kind of pattern is used where we, in the same function, we have a lot of exports. Okay, a lot of 4 5 exports are there. How we can do that thing? Let me also tell that. Suppose I will have a copy this again. Okay, export const react greet. I will do hello react, save it. Now what I can do here, I can even use that react greet here. react react greet. I'll do. So see, it is coming with this comma, and it is showing inside this curly bracket. Okay, it is showing inside this curly bracket and showing like this. And now I will save it. So even the react rate is coming. So if you have something like this, which we generally don't have, 4 5 exports and all, we can use this. This is known as named export and named import. What we generally use, it is known as a default export, and for that I'm create a new another functional component known as greeting .js, and this time I'm not going to write all of the code by my hand. See, in HTML I have always tell that you do this not and then the tab in your VS code, and it will automatically show all the skeleton code. But how to get the skeleton code in React? Skeleton code in React, you cannot get it directly from VS Code. You have to add in one extension, and that extension is this extension, ES7 React Redux React Native Snippet. Even React Native Snippet is there. So all of this, you install it, and then you will learn about it, because there are only 3 4 very important extension which I use, and I'm using it for such a long time that I remember it. I will also tell you what are the extension. Okay, so you'll come here, and you have to do RAFCE. I love this extension, RAFCE, and then I have to press a tab, React Arrow Function Export Component tab, and it will create a arrow function based component for me with this export default and all. It will create like this. Okay, and this is what is known as the default export. See, this is a named export, this is a default, and here the export is here. Here I'm doing export default greetings, and I can do only one export here. Export default greeting I'm doing, I can do only one export here. I cannot do more than one export here. Okay, so I'll do this, and paragraph greetings, not paragraph. Okay, h2 I'll do greeting from React. Now I will use it, so let us use it now. Greeting like this, and see, one more difference is there. See how it is imported, these curly brackets are not there, and this is known as default import, and this is known as named import, and I can have only one import here. So greetings from React is coming. So this is what is all about your class based components and default and all those things. Okay, now we will look into the not functional component, class based component. Okay, class based component we're going to look, and class based component were earlier from, it is from the early days of React, and they were very important at one time. Nowadays React is moving away from it. What is the reason? When I'm going to start with hooks, I'm going to tell that reason also, why React is moving away from the class based component. But it will be there till infinity, means this till React is the class based component will be there, because React doesn't means changes anything nowadays. No framework on languages deprecate any major feature because the support needed to be given for the for someone who created it earlier. Okay, so that is there. And now I'm going to create another file known as welcome.js. And again, I'm not going to write the whole skeleton code. Here the shortcut is known as RCC. I'll press a tab. Although this is giving me a lot of things, but it is not completely okay. Export default we can do here also, but nobody does it like this, and I also don't like it. Like, I don't also like this thing. Export default welcome, I'll do like this. Okay, so here one more thing you are going to see like this. Again, the h2 I'll do, and welcome to React world. Welcome to React world. I'm going to do and save it, and it will not definitely not show. Okay, so I will use it also here. Welcome like this, save it, and welcome to React world is coming. But what is the difference here? The difference here is that, okay, I will not see this one right now because this one is not how we show it. Okay, so if you see the comparison from your functional component, see, the thing is that here the first thing is that we have a class, and this is the ES6 class. This is the ES6 class which we have learned in ES6 JavaScript previous week we have learned. Okay, and it has got one thing which is different from here. It has got something known as render. Inside the render, a return function is there, and it is render is very important because it runs whenever the state gets changed and props are there, it re-renders again. So that is something is there which we're going to learn when we're going to learn the state. That is okay. But you see another thing is there. Class welcome extends component. What is the extends component? So extends component is the inheritance thing. Okay, it's the inheritance. Okay, inheritance in a class. So it is inheriting from this component. What is this component? Component is something which is coming from, this is very important. Component is a class which the React team has created, and from there we get all the React features of like state and all those things we get from there, and lifecycle methods and all. So we extend it. So nothing, nothing much here. Just we extend it to get all those functionality, all those functionalities we need, and that's why we extend. And this is how it is. The format, general format, it is like this one. And this will be, there is a constructor also. We are going to learn about that later on. But I think that this is a very easy kind of class. In ES6, I have told the class there we have to create an object and all. No, you don't have to create an object and all. That are all taken care by React. So that's why React is even easier than JavaScript DOM programming. We don't have to take care of all those things like it is creating an object and all. So no, we don't have to. So it is like this. Okay, so that is there now. Okay, so now the next thing which we are going to learn is that this JSX thing. I want to tell one thing in this JSX is that JSX, if you come to this app.js, there are some differences in JSX. Maybe I'm not going to tell everything, but okay. So JSX means extension to JavaScript language, just like XML code for element, JSX tags, and all these things are there. The differences, let us see the differences. The differences is that class become class name, for become HTML for, and on click become on click, camel casing, tab index also become like this. So why do class become class name and for become HTML for? So that is a mystery. Why does it do that? See this. And what is this class name actually? This class name is for our CSS file. In CSS, we have that class. This class name is for that. See this dot app you're seeing? This is coming from here. But why do you have this class name keyword? Why cannot have we have this class? Because see, if you see this, what is this file? This file is .js. JS means what? This is a JavaScript file. And on the top of it, we have also this like this functional component. Okay, we also have this class-based component also. Class-based component it also have a class keyword. Also have a class keyword. So if I have a class keyword here also, it will be like two times I'm having it. React will not understand those things. So that's why what happens, we have this class name in React. We have this class name. Internally, when it gets converted into HTML, CSS, JavaScript, it gets converted into a class only. Okay, so it is like this. Okay, class keyword is there, and it's like that. Class is there. Okay, so that is there, and for becomes HTML for. Okay, so this is that for which we have a label and id combination, label and input combination in HTML. Label is there, then some input is there. So in that we have this for. See what I'm talking about this. We have a label is there. See, label HTML form. This I'm talking about. Label will have a HTML form instead of that for. Because again, why? For is a keyword in JavaScript. Why? For loops are there. This is at the end of this, a JavaScript file, JS file is there. So that those are the differences in JS. Okay, so now the next thing which we are going to learn is the first important topic in Java in ReactJS. Okay, and that is the concept of props in ReactJS. Okay, props in ReactJS, which is very important. Maintain some water. Okay, so the props in ReactJS. So what are the props? Props are actually very simple. So there are only three important concepts in ReactJS, especially in a class based, also in a hook based also. One is props, second is state, and third is lifecycle method. So we're going to learn about the most easiest one of them, which is known as props. Props are a way to pass data around in React, mainly to pass data from a parent component to a child component. So parent component, child component, I have already told. This app component is the parent component, and the app component has got four children. Four children: read, react, and all this. Whatever component is calling, this is done on a children component. So with props, we can pass data very easily from parent to a children component. How to pass data back? It's a bit complicated in React, which you're going to learn later on. From a children to the app, because React is not as advanced as Angular. It doesn't have like two-way bindings, and all. Those who know Angular, they know there is two-way binding in Angular, but there is no two-way binding or something in Angular. It's a very simple thing. So we have to do a trick when we are going to pass data from a children to a parent. Most probably we are going to learn that tomorrow. Children to parent. Okay, so let us pass the data in the one direction, which is like the parent to the children. So here I will actually comment this out. And how do comment in React? Select everything and then control and backslash I'll do. See, this is how we comment in React, a different way. Inside your JSX, we comment it like this. Let me take this also at the top. Now, here also we have to comment it. So how we are going to comment it? See, this is also showing. So again, we're going to select it, but outside it is commenting like a normal way, a normal comment only. So now I want to pass some data in this greetings. Let me also do one thing. Let me greetings two more times, and then I'll do a name equal to Java script like this, and name equal to Golang, name equal to shift. I'll do. So what is this name? This is known as a props name, and this is not, again, not a keyword. You can use anything: name, people, person, anything you can do. It is not a keyword, and this is the basically the value which you want to pass. Again, this can be anything. So this I am doing. Greetings from React is coming because I'm not using it yet. So let us use it now. So I'll go to this greeting, and then here I want to see this means I want to use these things. Okay, so here I'll do a props. Here I get the data with the props keyword. Okay, props keyword I'm going to get, and then I'm going to do a console.log of props. I'm going to do. Okay, and one more thing I'm going to do here is this greetings from props dot name. Okay, so what is this props dot name, and why I'm using this curly bracket? So inside this JSX, if you want to show any variable, this is actually a variable, you have to use this curly brackets. So I'll do this. I'll also open my console so that I can see what is coming. I'll save it. greetings from JavaScript, greetings from Golang, greetings from Shift, which I was passing here. So whatever we pass it here, okay, whatever we pass it here, it comes as a props. It comes as a props in a functional component. Okay, in a functional component, it comes as a props in the parameter. In the parameter function parameter, it comes as a props. So when I did a console.logs, and what is the props? Props it is internally changed by React. Whatever we pass here, it comes as an object. See, an object is coming which has got a name JavaScript. This props is an object which is name JavaScript, name Golang, and whatever is there, name Shift is there. And then if it's an object, how I use the name? Props.name I have to use, because object value you access it like this only. Props.name I'm accessing it. So this is how it is shown in a functional component. Okay, so that is there. Then there is one more thing here, like the props. There is another kind of a prop, and this is a normal prop. So there is a prop which is known as a children prop or children prop. So how to use the children prop? Okay, so for that, let us do something like, for the children prop we have to use the complete form. See, in React, most of the time I'm using a component like what? I'm using a component like this. Means it's a self-ending thing I'm doing. Then I have to go here and I have to do like this. Greetings I have to do. Shift I'll do, and greetings I'll do. Language of the web. Language for iOS apps. I will save it. Let me do one thing. Let me refresh it. See, now there is something. This props is coming. See, props is coming. Now this props for the first and the last one, it has got some different kind of thing known as children. I have not written anywhere children. I have not written anywhere children, but it has got this children. So this thing is known as children props. Whenever we pass something in between these two curly brackets, most of the time in React component you will end it like self-ending. Some of the time you will end it like this, and then you can pass anything in between it, and these are known as a children thing. This is known as this children. Okay, so now let us show that children here, and for that what I'm going to do, I'm going to show it in a P, and I'm going to show props dot children. I'll save it, but I got an error. And this is not related to props dot children. This error is related to something else, and it is telling me that adjacent JSX element must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Do you want to use a JSX fragment? Actually, I do want to use a JSX fragment. In React, there is a rule like that. If something is starting with h2, it should end with h2 only. If something is starting with a div, it should end with a div. It cannot like it have a h2 and it has a p. No, it cannot do like that. So either I have to use a div here wrapping everything, but it is telling me to use something known as a JSX fragment. What is this JSX fragment? Fragment means actually nothing. Like this, it will be there. In early days of React, we used to use this div and all. So div causes a lot of problem. If you know a bit of CSS grid or flexbox, so the div actually it will be considered as a children. So that was a problem in React. Mainly styling was a problem. So React people came out with this fragment. So fragment means nothing. In the browser also you'll see it is nothing. I'll show that thing also. Okay, so let me save it now and see it is coming right. Okay, it is coming right. Greetings from JavaScript and all these things. So I was telling that you have to wrap this, and the error has also gone. So it will show me the error also in this VS Code also. It will show me error. Okay, so that is there. But what is this fragment, and what do I mean that it means nothing? So let me see any one of them. I'll see. Right click and inspect. See, this app is there. After this app, h2 is there and a p is there. h2 is there and a p is there. h2 is there and a p is there. In fact, there is no p here. h2 and p is there like this. Okay. So there is nowhere it is mentioned this thing fragment is there. So it means nothing is there. Okay. But if I make a div, so it do make a bit of style changes. If you have a div and all, so I will have a div instead of it. See now what happened? This app have this div. App have this div. app has this div, so something like this is there. So it's always advisable to use a fragment. So this is like how it is, it's work. Okay, so now we'll do the same thing in a class-based component, because we are not seeing how to do the same thing in a class-based component. So let us do that in a class-based component. And maybe I'll put it after it. Maybe a HR I'll put so that it is differentiable. See, everything HR and everything have this have to have this closing thing. HR in a HTML, I can do it like this also, it will not give me error. But here it will give me error because I have to have it ending backslash. So HR I have given, and welcome, it is showing me it is not done because I have removed the import. I'll do the import, and then I am going to again have like name equal to Flutter. Okay. Name equal to React Native. Name equal to Java. And then what I'm going to have here, welcome, welcome. Here I will have language for cross platform mobile development. Okay, like this. And in the Java, it is not always required that I have to pass something like this. You can pass a different component also. You can pass something else also. Like I will pass a button here. Click for Java. For Java. Okay. So that is there. I will save. 3 times I'm coming because I'm not using it actually. Okay, so let me go to this welcome, and here again the first thing is that I want to show that, but I want to wrap this in a fragment because I want to have two statements like here. So welcome, but one thing to notice here is that where is my how I will use the props, but there is no parameter. I cannot use it in any parameter is there because classes component like this. Here we use the this keyword. As you know, when we are learning the ES6, I have told you that this keyword is very much used in React, and this is something which is used very much in the class because this has been accessible throughout the class, and we have to access the props through this dot props. And how it is coming, because we're extending it from the component, so that logic is there. This dot props dot name. The next one is a P I will show, and again I will show it. This dot props dot children, I'll do save it and see it is coming like this. So it is coming perfectly. So this is how both of this thing works. Okay, so that is there, and let me give the attendance sheet first. Then I will start with the state, but I think we are not going to complete the state, but I'm going to tell a bit about the state. Okay, so mark your attendance here. So now we're going to learn about the most important concept in React, which is known as a state. It is literally the most important concept in React. So for that, let me close this, and we are going to have a new component known as counter.js, and this will be a class-based component, of course. RCC I'll have, and then I'll have a port default counter I'm going to have. Then, and state is something in React which belongs to the component. It is a local state which you are talking about. Okay, there is something as global state also. That is done by Redux. not in React. Okay, so here class counter extend components, it is there. I'll create a constructor first, and constructor also there is a shortcut which I remember, that is r const is there, and then the constructor will be there like this, and then the count is there like this, and count of 0 is there, and then this is there, and this dot state is there. So and then let me come here, and here I'll do maybe h1. We have a count of this dot state dot count. I'm going to have this dot state dot count. Okay, and I'm going to have this, and let us show this thing first, then I'm going to tell what I have just done. Okay, I don't want to follow this thing, but we are going to need this thing soon, because there is some destructuring thing which I'm going to tell tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to have this counter I'm going to have like this, save it. So count of 0 has been shown. Why 0 has been shown, and what is this dot state? First thing is that this dot state is always shown in the, always given in the constructor. So now finally we have the constructor feature. Constructor here, class constructor is optional, just like in ES6 class, here also it is optional. So here we have to have this props thing we have to do. Super props is something which you have to again do it, because there is an extent is there. I'm inheriting from company, so this is something, the boilerplate thing which you have to do. Then we can have a state here. This dot state is the state variable. Why I'm using this keyword here? Because this keyword have a benefit that it can be used throughout the class, which you have seen when I was telling the ES6 class. That's why ES6 all the concepts are very much important. This dot state, I'm taking a variable name. I'm not taking a var, I'm not taking a const, I'm not taking a let, I'm taking a this. For that reason only, because I can use it throughout this. This dot state is actually an object, see, equal to an object, JavaScript object. Count is there, which is 0. I have taken count is 0, and then I can access it, this count variable, anywhere with this dot state dot count, because that is how we access something from the object, and that is how it is showing as 0. So this is the concept of a state, but is not complete. Definitely it is not complete now. So the thing is that, how do we increment the state? We increment the state through a concept known as a set state. Okay, set state, we increment the state, and for that, let us have a button first. So how will you increment this state? So I will come here and have a fragment, and inside this fragment I will have this thing, and then here uh, button I will have, a increment I will have, and then here I'll go and on click. As I've told earlier also, on click is a camel case. Okay, and I will have a this dot increment count. This dot increment count is a function, but everything in a class-based component is actually accessed through this keyword, and this is the reason number one, React is moving away from class-based component, because this keyword is a bit complicated. Even in here also it is complicated, but you're soon going to see why I'm telling it is complicated. Although it is accessible throughout the class, but there is some complications are there. Okay, so this dot increment count I have done. Now this increment count is a function. Classes can also have functions, so this is the function of this class. Okay, so I will create it here. Increment count is equal to this dot set state is equal to count is this dot state dot count plus 1. Okay, one more thing, we update the state only through this way, this dot set set. There is a method known as this dot set set. We are soon going to learn why we update the state with this dot set set. Why cannot I update it like this dot state dot count equal to this dot state dot count plus 1? Why cannot I do that? I will see that thing. Okay, so this dot set state is there, and then inside that I am passing this object, because of course this is an object, and count is this dot count plus 1. Okay, that is there. Let us see whether this will work or not. First thing, okay, I'll have an inspect also, console also. I will click here. It didn't work. And I got an error also here that cannot read properties of undefined reading set state. Actually, there is a problem with the this keyword here. So the value of this is not known. Means this should belong at this juncture to our increment count function, but it is not done. So there are four ways to solve it, which we are going to see tomorrow. Four ways to solve this issue. I'm going to show one of the issue because right now we are in the mid of something and we need to see it. There are four different ways to solve this issue, and the way which I'm telling it's a bit old way. Tomorrow I'm going to show a very four ways I'm going to show total. Two of them are very modern and that only you should use, but you should know this old way also. So that old way is that this dot increment count equal to this dot increment count to bind this. So what is this bind? Bind is a JavaScript method which can bind that this value. Okay. So what it will do that this value will bind it to the increment count. And in fact, this keyword is very complicated. I have a video on this keyword also. In fact, you have to going to go deep into this keyword. It will require at least 1 year to go only in this keyword because this keyword is so complicated. There is a whole book on this keyword, and there is a whole book. If you want to master JavaScript, it will take you around 1 year, which I don't recommend. In 1 year you can it's better to master React. And there are a volume of 4 books known as you don't know JavaScript, you don't know JS. You have to read those books for at least 1 year. There are 4 books, very thick books. I have also not read it, but I have read the essence of it from some places. I know that kind of JavaScript also, but I don't teach that kind of JavaScript nowadays. That because that is not needed for React. At the end, the goal of learning JavaScript should be learning React because that will give you a job. And I always tell about getting a job, not like this learning. So this is not some college stuff. Okay. So I am doing this, and this is done. Now what will happen? I will increment this count and see it is incrementing to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's incrementing fine. Okay, so that is there. And what? Okay, let us look into one more concept before we will wind up today, and that is that okay, that concept is like why cannot I increment the state directly? Why cannot I do something like, as I've told, I'll come here and this dot state dot count equal to this dot state dot count plus 1, and I also have to do a console dot log of this dot state dot count. I will do save it, saved it. Now, so I'm directly doing what do why do use a set state? Directly do it, the increment count is done and this will be done. I click it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. But this is not incrementing. This is incrementing. Actually, this means the state is incrementing. This is incrementing means the state is but why it is not incrementing? Actually, this dot set state comes with the feature. When the this dot set state runs, it reruns this render function, which is the most important concept in React. Because React, whatever we are using right now, this is known as virtual DOM programming. Okay, so this render, till the render is done, this is sort of, it is not refreshing the DOM. It doesn't refresh this thing. So it will be stuck at that place only. This needed to be rerun. This whole part needed to be rerun to have the latest count. And this dot set state comes with something inbuilt rerunning the render. Whenever the this dot set state run, it will update the state, but it will rerun this render also. So I can change it back and I will comment this out and I will change it back and save it, and I will do it, and I will increment count, and increment count is increment. Okay, so another 2 minutes are left. Okay, so let me tell one more thing here. If there is time, why not tell one more thing? So that thing is that, okay, the state is incrementing quite fine. That is no problem. The state is incrementing quite fine. No issues either. But the problem here is that the state is incrementing fine. That is okay. But the problem here is that, see, if my state is 11, it is 10, it is 11, it is 12. Why it is happening? Because React is actually very fast. The moment the this dot set state runs, it will directly come to the render and increase it. Then this next line will be done. But sometime what happens? You need to run something before this dot set state hits the render. you need to run something at that time. And that time what we do, this is a special case. What we do, we call a function or something here, and we call it through some arrow function. Here we are going to call this same console log. Generally I've seen in production projects they call some other function and all, okay, but here we are going to call this console log only, like this. And this is a special case, not used a lot. And I'll do this now. I'll click it. See, 1 1 2 2 3 3 4, it is always the same, it is always the same. Okay, so that is like this is always the same. Okay, so this actually will end here, means a little bit of the small thing is remaining here, that I will tell tomorrow. And hope you like it, hope you fill the attendance form, and please do attend it. This is the most important series in your career if attending it for the first time. And someone is asking what next week, maybe I'll do some react.js project, because I want you people to get a job. So react.js project next week I'm going to do. Okay, so some small react.js projects I'm going to do, 4 5 react.js projects. And that again you have to submit with the GitHub link, then you'll go get the completion certificate of that next week I'm telling about. This you just have to attend. Okay, so that is there. And with this I will end today's stream. Thank you all for attending. Come see you tomorrow at the same time, and we'll continue.